Hello everybody, my name is Jennifer Maker and it's a beautiful day to make 3D paper lighthouse luminaries and the Great Maker Show and Tell. So did you know that there are around 800 lighthouses in the United States? One of the most famous, the Statue of Liberty, was in operation from 1886 to 1901. They stopped using it as a lighthouse because it cost a lot to run, and as we all know, it's now a world-famous tourist attraction that draws millions of visitors every year. There's just something really special about a lighthouse. Of course, they serve a really important purpose, lighting a safe way for ships headed to shore. But they're also a symbol of hope for many, and some even find them romantic. So I thought it might be really fun to make one. And I did. Isn't this just so pretty? So these lighthouses are made entirely of cardstock, vellum, and of course, a little glue to keep it all together. I also added a battery-operated LED tea light to give it a beautiful glow. The exact materials I used to make this 3D lighthouse are all linked below this video. So let me show you where to get my free 3D lighthouse pattern and SVG cut file if you want to cut it on your Cricut, and how to put it all together. Step 1, get your lighthouse pattern. My lighthouse pattern is available in my free resource library. You can download it from my blog at jennifermaker.com/315. Just go to the red bar at the top and look for libraries, and then either click Get a Password if you don't yet have one, or click Enter the library. You can find the pattern by searching the page for Design 315, and then click it to download an SVG cut file for cutting with a Cricut or another cutting machine, as well as a printable PDF for cutting by hand. Let me show you how to cut this out with a Cricut cutting machine. First, upload the SVG cut file to Cricut Design Space. If you're unsure how to unzip and upload SVG files, please watch my SVGs Made Simple training series at jennifermaker.com/svgs. Here's what my Paper Lighthouse SVG file will look like in Cricut Design Space. The file is set up to make one lighthouse measuring approximately 16 inches tall and 8 inches wide across the base. If you want to use a different paper or color combination, you can designate different colors for the cut layers to keep track of all of the pieces, but that's entirely up to you. Once you're happy with how everything looks, simply click Make It in the upper right corner. If you're prompted to cut with or without a mat, choose On Mat. And then on the next screen, click Continue. Now you will be prompted to select your material settings. Choose medium cardstock for the cardstock pieces, and I always like to choose more pressure for a clean cut. I am going to use textured cardstock for this project, which is actually textured on one side, but not on the other, which is smooth, and that's great for paper crafting. Place your cardstock on a blue, light grip, or green standard grip mat, smooth side down. Load your scoring stylus or scoring tool into your Cricut and press Go. Once the cut is done, unload your mat, flip it over, and roll the mat back to release the cardstock. I used a weeding tool to pop out all the little bits for the decorated pieces. Once those cuts are done, you will browse all materials and select vellum for the window pieces. Once that cut is done, flip your mat back again and gently peel off those pieces. Here are the pieces you'll need to make a paper lighthouse: 20 window frames, 20 vellum panels, vellum strip, roof, roof cap side, 2 cupola side pieces, 3 tea light trays, a railing, railing base, 2 tower sides, 8 belly band strips, 6 nautical embellishments, 2 collar strips, 2 tower bases, 8 base sides, 1 base, 1 door frame, 1 door roof, and 1 door triangle piece. I know that's a lot. I promise it's going to be worth it. Step 2. Assemble the windows. To begin, lay out all of the window pieces, which should include the vellum panes, window frames, and the sections with window cutouts, which include the base pieces, tower pieces, cupola pieces, and the cap windows. Be sure to match up each group of rectangle-shaped vellum and frames to the correct window cutouts, as each section is a slightly different size. First, we glue the vellum panels into place on the inside of each window, the non-textured side of the paper, by running a line of tacky glue along the window edges. There are 4 sections with windows that we attach the vellum to: the roof cap windows, the cupola windows, the tower windows and portholes, and the base section windows. Next, flip the pieces over. Glue the window frames to the outside of each window. That's the textured side of the paper. This is what the window sections will look like after they are assembled. Step 3. Fold and glue the cupola, which is the top tier. First, let's assemble the roof and cap. Fold the small cap roof inward on the score lines so the textured side is facing outward. Apply glue to the tab and glue the roof closed to make the cone shape. Also, fold the larger roof in the same way. Now glue the 2 ends of the roof together to make a cone. Next, fold the cap windows. Fold in and put glue on the side tab on the short end of the cap window section. Press the 2 ends of the cap window section together until the glue holds. Apply glue to the tabs along one of the long sides of the cap window section. And now press the tabs into the underside of the smaller cap roof, taking care to center it and align the octagonal sides. Now apply glue to the bottom tabs of the cap window section. Press the tabs onto the top side of the larger cupola roof, taking care to center the cap on the roof and line up the folds. Next, fold the cupola window sections inward on the score lines. Glue the cupola window sections together. First, you put the 2 sections together at the tab, and then you glue them end to end. This is what the cupola windows look like when they're all glued together. Now it's time to attach the cupola windows to the roof and the cap. Apply glue to the tabs on the top of the cupola windows. Press the tabs onto the underside of the roof, taking care to center it and line up the folds. This is what the cupola or top tier looks like when it's all assembled. Step 4. Fold and glue the tower, which is the middle tier. Now it's time to make the base of the cupola of the paper lighthouse, which is actually the top of the tower or middle tier. Start by folding the railings and railing tabs inward along the score lines. Now glue each railing section together by attaching the tabs to the inside of each neighboring rail. After attaching all the rails, center the railing piece on the cupola base piece, making sure all octagon sides line up. Apply glue to the bottom of the rail piece and glue onto the base. Next, assemble the tea light holder by folding inward along the score lines. And gluing the tabs on the outside of each section. Center and align the tea light holder inside the railing base and glue into place. This is what it looks like when it's all glued together. Now fold the tower sides inward on the score lines so the textured side of the paper and window frames are facing outward. You will see there is an extra set of score lines midway down the tower. These lines do not get folded. They are guidelines which will help us align and attach the decorative band later. Glue the tower sides together. First, you glue the two sides together at the tab, and then you glue them end to end. This is what the tower sides look like when they're all glued together. Next, attach the railing and tea light holder to the top of the tower. Do this by applying glue to the tabs at the top of the tower. Carefully align and attach the tabs to the base of the railing, taking care to line up the octagon edges. Next, add the tower embellishments. First, fold each of the band sections inward along the score line so the texture will face outward. Line up the two sections of each band size. There are 3 total band sizes for the tower, and glue them together at the tab. Apply glue to the underside of each band and attach them to the tower in their respective locations. They are sized to fit in specific areas. There are 3 sets of bands. The smallest is placed at the top flush under the railing. The medium-sized band is lined up where the scored guidelines are, midway down the tower, and then the largest band is glued to the base of the tower. Finally, glue the nautical icons onto the plain sides of the tower. Step 5. Fold and glue the base, which is the bottom tier. Now it's time to make the base of the paper lighthouse tower, which is actually the top of the base or bottom tier. Start by folding the collar sections inward along the score lines. Now glue each collar section together. First, you glue the 2 sections together at the tab, and then you glue them end to end. Apply glue to the bottom of the collar tabs and glue onto the base. Make sure to center the collar on the tower base piece and that all octagon sides line up. Next, assemble the tea light holder, just like we did earlier. Fold the tea light holder along the score lines. Glue the tea light holder together at the tabs. Center and align the tea light holder inside the collar and glue into place. Now, apply glue to the bottom of the collar and tea light section. Align it to the base piece and glue into place. This is the base of the tower, which will become the top of the bottom tier. Now we will assemble the bottom tier windows. Choose one of the plain sections without a window and glue the door just above the score line. Glue the door frame into place. Now fold all of the base sides inward on the score lines. Arrange the base sections so that each plain side is separated by a window. Glue each of the sides together. First, apply glue to a tab and press two sections together, and go around the circle until each side is glued to the one next to it. Then complete the bottom window section by gluing them end to end. Next, assemble the final tea light holder like we did earlier. Align it in the center of the lighthouse base like this and glue it in place. Add glue to the window base tabs and align them to the base and attach, taking care to line up the octagon edges. Next, apply glue to the top tabs of the base section. Align them to the bottom of the collar and tea light section and glue into place, taking care again to line up the edges perfectly, well, or as perfectly as you can get them. Now add the base embellishments. First, fold each of the band sections inward along the score lines so the texture will face outward. Line up the two sections and glue them together at the tab. Apply glue to the underside of the band and attach it to the base just flush under the collar section. Next, fold the door roof inward along the score lines. Add glue to the inside of the roof tabs and press the triangle piece into place. Apply glue to the back of the triangle and align it to the band just above the door and press into place. Center and glue the ship's wheel icon on the triangle. This is what the base or the bottom tier looks like when it's all assembled. Step 6, put it all together. Now that all of your pieces are glued, it's time to put your lighthouse together. First, tuck a LED battery-operated tea light into the holder inside the base, and add one to each of the other two holders. Be sure to use LED tea lights. Align and place the tower on the base section. Then align and place the cupola on the tower section. And there you go. Isn't that just so cool? I'd love to see your lighthouse too. It looks great with and without a tea light inside. As always, if you have any questions about making luminaries or 3D paper crafts like this, please leave your question below this video, or better yet, post over in my Cricut Crafters group at jennifermaker.com/cricketcrafters. I love to help you and see you succeed. And that's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft the life you love.